With more X-Men content, because you guys have been screaming for this, we're doing X-Men Red. Now, here's one thing I want to specify. For those who are current on X-Men Red, we're only covering 1 through 40. And the reason why is because 5 and 6 are tie-ins for the Judgment Day event. So the only way to make those make sense is to actually do those as tie-ins for our coverage of Judgment Day. That's why we're calling this Volume 1, even though it's only 1 through 4. Having said that, those guys who are unfamiliar with X-Men Red, this story is amazing. What this does here is this initially opens up by answering the question how it is this storm became the queen regent of Mars, i.e. Oraka. Because remember, where you initially had the end of the Inferno event, swords, and that kind of stuff, and you had Oraka and Krakoa, they were supposed to submerge into a singular landmass back to the way they used to be. That was rejected. And so instead, Oraka ended up being taken to Mars, and it basically operates there. Right? So it's kind of a place where the citizens of Oraka can live their own lives, because the citizens of Oraka and the citizens of Krakoa, they have distinctly different views on this. And in fact, that's going to be a main focus of the story. But the way the story has the position is actually by challenging Nameless, the shapeshifter. You basically take on the form of whoever it is in space, who are virtually anybody, and duplicate their powers as well. So she's not really similar to Mystique as much as she is Copycat, Vanessa Carlisle, who can not only shapeshift into people, but also take their powers or copy their powers as well. And so she actually shapeshifted into Storm when she was at her peak, which is a nice little touch by Tom Taylor. But the two of them are basically fighting, of course, Storm ultimately comes out on top indirectly in the sense that she actually freezes Nameless in her place, and instead of accepting defeat, Nameless simply kills herself. Now, one of the things that I want to specify here is that the challenge and the fight from Nameless isn't based strictly on her position in what is in effect the Orako version of the Quiet Council of Krakoa, right? Orako's own governing body, essentially. It's this idea that Storm is seen as an outsider. The reality here is Orako's, people see, I guess the Orako, they see Krakoans as outsiders. And so Storm showing up here and challenging an Iraqi for her position is such that it's seen as an outsider challenging a rightful ruler. But ultimately, the role is maintained, right? The challenge is upheld. Storm wins, and she ends up gaining a seat on the Great Ring of Oraka, which again is Orako's version of the Quiet Council of Krakoa. And so as a result of this, you do have an interesting list here. Among these, and really the most intriguing, is Iska the Unbeaten. Now, of course, you also do have Tard, and we'll end up talking about him shortly, right? We'll talk about him in a little bit. But Iska the Unbeaten, who's going to be a particularly important part of the story here in a little while. Those of you guys who are unfamiliar with her, she's the one that can never lose, right? So whatever, it's one of those things where she's like, let's say, for example, that you have a battle to the death, right? Say, for example, that Magneto's fighting Xavier, right? Iska could look at that and say, I think Magneto's going to win. Magneto's victory is guaranteed. No matter what side she chooses, she's kind of one of those giant mirror suits. But we're going to find one of these really interesting elements of her power can actually be used against her. But you do get a few things where stuff's kind of settling in. For example, Magneto, after resigning from the Quiet Council, took up residence on Oraka. Now, one of the reasons why, one of the big reasons why Magneto resigned from the council was the aftermath of Inferno, more of a haggard, all that kind of stuff. The reality of what had been done, basically being leaked out to the rest of Krakoa, and the fact that the hidden agenda of Morbid Haggard was that she believed that the only way to save the human population was to get rid of it. So to basically manipulate the entire process. So as humans were resurrected, they would literally be resurrected without their power. And it would be a series of long over what it was, but it would be beyond contestation. And because of the fact that these beings would be resurrected as essentially humans, they would be banished from Krakoa. And so ultimately, Morbid Haggard could lead the mutant population down to nothing. Xavier and Magneto saw this as a massive betrayal. And in the aftermath of everything, Magneto quit. He was just disillusioned with Krakoa in a lot of ways. So what he ends up doing, of course, showing up here in Oraka, ends up coming across what is basically a fisherman. This guy's going to be referred to as Kingfisher later on down the line. But it's a cool little thing here because this guy is one where he sort of teaches Magneto the nature of what it means to truly be an Orako citizen, in the sense that where Magneto asks him, like, is this land yours? His response is, it's everybody's land, right? This is not like Krakoa and you guys on Earth, where you slice up sections of land and say, now this belongs to me. Nobody else can have this. He's like, this is for everybody here, right? Land existed before we were here, before you were here. It'll exist after you're dead. It does not belong to any one particular person because you've arbitrarily claimed dominion over it. That's not how we do things. And so, of course, it's really kind of a way for Magneto to kind of get back to his roots, to understand what it means to truly be part of something bigger. And in fact, Magneto's also going to experience a paradigm shift. Following that, we switch over to what's basically called like the Red Bar, essentially, right? The Red Lagoon, as it's called. So again, much of what you see here on Arakko is kind of an extension of Krakoa, just with different names. Like Krakoa has the Green Lagoon, Arakko has the Red Lagoon because Mars is a red lagoon. And so, of course, this whole place is basically led by Robert DaCosta, Sunspot, which is a little touchier. But you do have Gabriel Summers, Vulcan. Now, Vulcan's going to be a huge part of this story. But at the moment, something that you'll probably notice between Hickman's run and this run is that Vulcan is a lot more angry, right? He's much angrier than he used to be and a lot more mentally unstable. Now, this is kind of explained from a couple different places. The first one is from Jerry Dugan's X-Men run with issue number 10, which we haven't necessarily covered yet, but it's also explained here, so we're going to kind of jump forward in the story for a second. But the reality is that for those of you guys who recall the War of Kings story, and really just the nature of Vulcan himself, that when the events of the rise and fall of the Shi'ar Empire took place, which was basically where Vulcan had learned the reality of his parents' death, or at least his mother's death, at the hands of like the Shi'ar, that he was born on the Shi'ar homeworld, all that kind of stuff, which is true history. He traveled to the Shi'ar Empire and then ultimately conquered and became its emperor. This eventually led to an event called the War of Kings, and it kind of happened by just different circumstances. It wasn't a direct continuation, but you ended up getting the War of Kings, where it was like Black Bolt versus Vulcan, and that led to a very big, huge conflict, which ripped up Fisher in space. That's what led to Thanos' imperative and the Cancerverse. That during that story, Vulcan was basically pulled into the Cancerverse and was dissected by these different aliens. And what they had done, based on these plans, and it really haven't come to fruition yet. Again, this is kind of a big retcon. That what they'd done with Vulcan is they had suppressed his true personality, and then essentially replaced it with a more toned down and relaxed personality. And so that is the way that Tom Taylor is explaining how it is that we went from like the crazy, ultra-violent Vulcan back in the day to like suddenly this more toned down, relaxed, and chill Vulcan that we suddenly saw in Hickman's run. Now, what was the initial plan for this character, and it's just now coming to fruition? Tom Taylor's doing the other thing. I don't really know yet, but that's the way that it's done. The kicker here is that during times of like emotional distress and so on, the true personality of Vulcan starts to come out. And that's what's going on here. Because it was believed that Vulcan had died, even though he had never actually died, that when he was kind of out of the picture, this led to Gladiator taking control of the Shi'ar Empire, really just sort of kind of replacing Vulcan as its ruler, and then passing that down to Zandra, who is basically a girl that has the genetic material of both Xavier and Lilandra. So she wasn't really born by way of the two of them just like touching naughty bits, but just their genetic material when they were both basically dead. And this kind of pisses him off. He sees himself as the rightful heir to the throne of the Shi'ar. He's not ruling the Shi'ar, and he's not seen as an emperor of the Shi'ar. Now, a lot of this goes into the always existing desire of Vulcan to be adored, and in fact, this is going to be preyed on later, because this kind of argument here leads to a skirmish, which actually sees Abigail Brand and Cable stepping in and basically bringing an end to it. Now, one of the things to know here is that the most recent video that we did that had Cable had his younger self, now we have his older self. The explanation for this here is that there's a point when Strife returns. Strife basically being the clone of Cable from the future is basically a bad guy. The younger version of Cable realized the only way to beat Strife was to bring his older version back. And when that was done, because of the rules of Krakoa saying there can't be two of the same kind of person walking around, the younger Cable went back to his own future and the older Cable stayed behind. From a publishing side, it was Marvel just getting rid of the younger Cable, which nobody was really receptive to. He was kind of a cool character, but a lot of people just want to see the old Cable. Now, this is probably also due to the fact that like the Marvel Cinematic Universe now has Deadpool, Josh Brolin